What's going on, guys? Jimmy here again with One Road. I'm doing a video on Auxbeam LED headlights, and I already did a video regarding that exact thing on my 1995 Suburban, but this time we're going to be putting them in my 2003 Suburban. I really like the idea of having headlights that aren't yellow and that are seemingly brighter. I'm not exactly sure if these new LED headlights are actually measurably brighter than what's currently in there, but I think the overall effect that you get from going from like a yellow tungsten color light, which is like 2700K to 3200K, to a daylight colored bulb, which is about 5600K, even on up to like 6500K. The K means Kelvin, that's kind of a light color temperature. That's kind of what all these new LED bulbs are, is they're all daylight balanced, meaning they're kind of throwing off what we see as daylight with our normal eyes. So I think that effect that you get is, hey, it's brighter, it's clearer, so you kind of see, you feel like you can see more. Nevertheless, I have new bulbs, so let's put them in. All right, guys, here's my current setup. This is the original bulb from the factory. As I was saying, it's a little more yellowy orange in color, and I'm actually gonna tone down my camera so you can really get a sense for what these bulbs actually look like. So the first thing you need to do to remove the headlamp is going to be to grab these two pins here, pop them out of the holder. There's one there and another one here, and you just slide it up and out. Once those two pins are removed, you're going to simply slide the housing out of the truck. Now, we might actually be dealing with a fitment issue. I'm not so sure that these big fat bulbs are actually going to fit in this spot, so we'll see here. There is the fitment of the bulb. The bulb is installed and it is very, very tight. A little too tight for comfort there. The thing is I got it in, but I did have to remove this back bracket here. You can see where the holes are. There are screws that I had to take out, and the screws basically went here, here, and here to the adjustment points. Now I want to show you the clearance that we're having here. The clearance is absolutely, I couldn't be any tighter. That, I mean, I guess I could always shave off that bracket a little bit if I needed to, but that is, the bulb is locked in there, and you can see it is just, I mean, you couldn't slide a hair in there. So the only downside is that this bulb then becomes basically unserviceable on the road. I mean, unless you have a 5.5mm socket or something with you, which I would imagine most people don't, the only way to change that bulb is going to be to take this off and swap out a new bulb. So say you're driving along on a long road trip and this thing starts to fail due to overheating or what have you, you're not going to be able to just simply pop out the old bulb and pop in a new one at an auto parts store without taking out the whole headlamp, which you'd have to do anyway, but then also taking this back bracket off, which isn't that big of a deal again, but you just need to have a 5.5mm socket and a ratchet or some type of, gun or something like that to take these out. So not a big deal, but just something to be aware of. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with it. I'm going to put the backing plate back on here, reinstall the headlight, and work on the other one. Okay, so we got our backing plate here, and I'm just going to go ahead and slide it on. Should fit exactly as I took it off. Okay, now I will be saving this bulb just in case, like I said, the LED becomes inoperable for some reason or another. I'll have these to be able to just swap back in. As you would expect, the new bulb just clips right in. Just like that. All you have to do to reinstall is obviously just shove the wiring back in and get this baby where it should be, which is just about there. Okay, so with the light properly inserted, the pin should be able to slide all the way down very easily and just click right into place. These things should be very, very easy to drop all the way in and then lock in place. So if you're forcing something, then it's not right. Just don't force it. You don't want to break the mounting and housing for the headlight, because then it'll just be dangling and that would definitely suck. And there you can see the difference. We have an extremely blue light, white light I should say, over here. And we have our original tungsten colored light right over here. I'm loving the LED look on this truck. It just looks incredible. Let me go ahead and reduce my exposure compensation so you can see the full effect there. And there you go. Incredible looking light. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one quickly. Again, just pop the 2 pins out. Okay. The light should then just pop out. All right. And we're gonna remove the old bulbs so we can just handle the headlight housing only. So here is the bracket. You can see the little screws that I need to take out. They are 5.5 millimeter. So just off camera, I've been messing with this bulb quite a bit, and I was trying to figure out how exactly to install this and if I was doing anything wrong and all that. So the reason why is, as you can see, this is at a slight angle. It's not perfectly vertical. It's off to an angle. And what that does is the LEDs are basically left and right of here, of this heatsink. I was trying to look at the stop here that the housing uses and also the stop on the actual Auxbeam bulb. And I was trying to see if anything was modifiable in order for me to get this to fit vertically. And I just don't think that anything really would be possible. I know that some versions of these lights have an adjustable actual beam angle, so you could actually adjust the tilt of the light, but this one actually is not adjustable. There is a little nut on there, but that is only to lock the bulb in, and there's no adjustability on that. So the downside to these Auxbeam bulbs is the fit is not that great. I would like it and prefer it to be vertical, but I understand they have to design these to fit a wide range of vehicles. But you could modify this if you wanted to. I don't want to mess with it. I certainly don't want to modify my stock housing here because that would just ruin it if I ever wanted to go back to standard bulbs. And I don't think there's enough adjustability in terms of adjusting the actual ear on this thing to get it to fit like I want. So that top ear there is what is hitting the stop. And you can see there's just not that much meat on there to be able to adjust. If that was a thicker piece, yeah, I could see grinding some of it out, and that way you can get it to turn a little bit more. But in this case, the way this thing goes in is the Auxbeam logo is facing straight up. The thing slides in like that, and you go ahead and twist it until it stops. And you can feel it stop, and it's not wiggling or anything. But again, the downside is that the bulb, the LEDs are going to be at a slight angle. So it's going to be very hard to show, but I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that it's not, they are at a bit of an angle. But being that this is all reflective on the inside, I think that it's close enough to where it's not going to matter. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing buttoned up, put the bracket back on the back here, shove the light in, and we'll go ahead and see what they look like. The bulbs are installed, and I was kind of thinking like, man, I didn't feel right about the driver's side, so I took that whole thing back out and took the bracket back off the back, and I realized that I actually didn't install the bulb correctly. So I had to take it out and readjust it to install the bulb correctly. And the same thing is happening on this one. Now that it's installed correctly, it's at about, instead of a vertical angle like this, it's at about a slight angle like that. I don't think it's gonna matter in terms of the beam pattern being too far off or anything, or the lights looking terrible. But it's just one of those things, I don't know. I did grease up all the O-rings and everything, and also the connection where the plug end of the connection where there's a couple rubber gaskets in there. I greased all that stuff up just to give it a little more sealing power, I guess. But let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see what it looks like. How about that? Oh my goodness, guys, look at that. That looks so good. It's so clear and so crisp. It just looks so good. Wow. All right, so here it is with my exposure compensation turned down, and this way you can hopefully see more of the light and less of just a bright white from the camera. So this is pretty awesome. I have now LED headlights in both of my trucks. I got my 95 there and my 03 here, and they look extremely good. I still haven't aimed them. I know both trucks have aiming issues right now. When I pull up to my garage door, I can tell that they're kind of aimed wrong. So I still have to go through that. I'll make a video about that very soon. In terms of actually recommending these bulbs, I'm not 100% on them. They do seem like they're a very good price. They seem like they put off a great light. I haven't had enough time running them at night to make sure that there wasn't any flickering issues or overheating issues or anything like that. So I definitely cannot comment on that. The overall look is great. I love the color of the light and how bright they are. They do seem brighter than the stock bulbs. But the fit and finish, I'm just a little concerned because they don't seem to fit as tight and really as firmly as something like these stock bulbs do. So that's one of the issues that I'm seeing with both sets. With the ones, I mean, they're the exact same bulbs. So I bought basically 4 different bulbs I've dealt with now between both of these trucks. And I just noticed that, like, you know, especially you can see on this, the ears on here are very wide and very, there's a lot of meat on there. The ones from Auxbeam, they're tiny little ears on there, so there's just not a whole lot of meat to hold that sucker in there. They do feel firm in there, like I'm not gonna have a problem, I don't think, with them moving, but I wish that they just fit a little tighter, that's all. One of my purposes for doing this was not only to get more light when I'm heading down the freeways or whatever at night, but I also wanted that updated look. Most of the trucks and cars nowadays that are coming out have, you know, daylight colored headlights, you know, LED everything. So I just wanted that more of an updated, fresh look on my 03. It's an 03, this is 2018, so this is a 15-year-old car. All right guys, so it is night and we are checking out these lights. Let me shut my door so that you can see what these things look like. Look how awesome that looks. And again, I'm going to take my exposure compensation down 2 stops so you can see the bulbs in all their glory. That just looks killer. Pretty bright, actually. A lot brighter than I was thinking they would be. This is about dead center, standing in front. They are aimed totally wrong, so you might have noticed the passenger side I think is aimed a lot higher than the driver's side. That's it guys, that is the install of these Auxbeam 9006 LED headlights on a 2003 Chevrolet Suburban. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, come back for more guys. There's gonna be many more videos. I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm doing to these trucks. But anyways, comment below, let me know what you think. If you have any other insight for me, I'd like to hear that too. I just wanted to show you real quick my beam pattern. Let me reduce my exposure compensation so you can see it. Look at that, completely off. That's pretty funny because when you're driving down the street, you can see one of the beams is hitting the ground and the other one is just off in the distance somewhere. But again, I'm gonna put a video out showing how to adjust the angle, the proper way to adjust the angle of your headlights very soon. So look for that coming up. And again, I'm Jimmy with One Road. Peace out, guys.